Go. Okay, so we are now getting opened up and allowing people to come on in. Welcome, and we're just going to get started in a couple of moments. So everyone just come on in and get comfy, and we will get started in just a couple of minutes. Are the slides up? Does anyone know?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'm just going to mute for a second and we will get started, and we'll give everyone like another minute to come in. Talking away here. It's a beautiful day here today in Ontario, or in the GTA anyway. I hope everyone else is experiencing some nice weather, because gosh knows we could use it. It's been quite the, not really a severe winter, I would say, but just long. Just, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm over it for sure.
Morgan, I'm getting a message from one of my friends saying that they're waiting in the waiting room. Are you aware of that?
Oh, I'm not aware of that. Okay, so it should have opened up now. We just opened up a few minutes ago. Is she still having trouble getting in, or?
Hello.
Oh, hello. Just wait a moment. Yeah, it should be open now. Let me see if I can figure that out, if there's anyone else.
I'm going to double check with people.
There. Okay. Yeah, it's open now, Ramya, and it seems like people are getting in, so maybe she could try it again. And we'll, and let me know if she can't get in. Okay, so I think we'll get started, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our first Young Leaders webinar. So my name is Morgan Einesen, and I am the Manager of Education and Research at Fighting Blindness Canada. If you came to Young Leaders Summit last year, we would have met. I have been involved with Fighting Blindness now for just over a year, and I'm super excited to be involved with this program. We always have such a great time. Today we're trying out a new format for the program. As many of you know, our plan had been to meet in person in Edmonton this weekend coming up. But unfortunately, of course, because of COVID-19, we canceled all our in-person education and fundraising events this spring. Many of you have been to Young Leaders Summits in the past, and we know how important these meetings have become to everyone as an opportunity to sort of explore their personal growth and to connect with our community. So before we get started today, I'd like to take a few moments to introduce our awesome co-chairs this year. It's certainly been a different year for the program, and they've been amazing at just sort of rolling with the punches as we try to navigate this, this new world. And I've seen firsthand how passionate each one of them are about continuing and building on the Young Leaders program. So maybe we could take just a couple, like a minute, everyone. I'll call on you. Hamid, do you want to go first?
Sure. So my name is Hamid. I've been with the FBC since March 2018, I believe. That was the Young Leaders Summit. And over time, I've learned to meet quite a few people here, and it's something that's very near to my heart. Definitely looking to work with everyone this year and meet some new faces, hopefully.
Awesome. Sarah, how about you?
So I've been part of, my name's Sarah. I've been part of the Young Leader Summits about since 2015, 2016, going to the summits and also attending Vision Quest in Toronto. And it's just been a honor and something really close to me to being a part of it. And it's come to be like family.
Awesome. And Amanda?
Hi, everyone. I became involved with FBC and the Young Leaders Program last year. So in 2019, going to the summit in Toronto, and I enjoyed getting to know everyone and hearing the different speakers and presentations at the summit. So I'm looking forward to working with everyone this year and getting to know people.
Perfect. And Ramya?
Hey guys, I'm Ramya. This is, I think, my second year with Young Leaders. Obviously, first year being a co-chair, but before that, I was introduced to this by Sarah, and it's been a really good time meeting a lot of people, going actually to places in Canada that I had never been to before. And now this year has been a cool opportunity because we still get to do this. Morgan, was really positive about keeping everything going and making we still get to experience and make the best out of our opportunities. So now we're going virtual, and so far it's been really awesome.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see how it all goes. We're still waiting to make a sort of a decision about the fall. I know a lot of people have been asking because we do have two sort of summits on the books, one in Montreal in September and one in Toronto in October. And so we're still just kind of waiting to see what happens. I know every province is different. Ontario is starting to open up a little bit, and we're just kind of waiting and watching to see how that all goes. But regardless of what happens to our in-person events, we are going to be staying connected this year virtually. We're going to be doing a series over the summer of webinars, so hopefully you'll continue to check those out. Our next session is going to be scheduled on Saturday, June 6th, and it's going to be a panel discussion with all of our awesome co-chairs, and we're going to talk about the theme that we have brought together for this year's summit, which is networking and social supports, which I think is actually really relevant right now. It's how do we stay connected? How do we utilize the supports that we have in our life to kind of get through a really weird and challenging time? So before we get started, I just want to talk to you for another second about another program we have happening this year. As many of you know, because of the current situation, Fighting Blindness Canada is predicting an unprecedented drop in our fundraising that helps us fund our research and education programs, such as Young Leaders. And we would love it if you would consider signing up to join us this year for Cycle for Sight on June 20th. So this year, Cycle for Sight, we usually have it in several locations across the country. This year, we're doing a national virtual event that's going to be happening again on June 20th. And whereas typically you would just be cycling, this year we want you just to think about getting active. So you can include riding, walking, doing yoga, all to help raise awareness and money for Fighting Blindness Canada. So with your support, we can continue to invest in the groundbreaking research and supporting the community that we have been doing for years. So to tell you a little bit more about why he's participating in Cycle for Sight, I have a short video clip from the cyclist and Paralympic hopeful Lowell Taylor. So let me try to pull that up. Anyone here who knows me knows that my technical abilities have been really pushed by going to a virtual system. So let me see if I can get this guy up.
My name is Lowell Taylor, and I'm a visually impaired cyclist with Cycling Canada and a Paralympic hopeful. My wife Julie and I are hosts of 2 seasons of Mindset Go, and we competed together on the Amazing Race Canada Season 4. I'm excited to be participating in Cycle for Sight Virtual 2020 on Saturday, June 20th, and I hope you will join me. I'm cycling so that Fighting Blindness Canada can continue to give millions of Canadians living with vision loss a loud voice and lots of hope. I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, an inherited retinal disease, when I was in grade 1. This disease has slowly taken away my vision, but I believe, and I've heard, that treatments are in sight. There's a new gene therapy treatment called Luxturna that has had some extremely promising results for a certain gene. It has been shown to stop further vision loss and even restore some functional vision. And Fighting Blindness Canada is working hard to bring this treatment to Canada, but they can't do it without us. Head over to cycleforsight.ca to register or sponsor a rider. To ride or train with me, follow us on social media at Julie Lowell Can or on Zwift under Lowell Taylor. So join me for the new National Cycle for Sight Virtual 2020 on June 20th, and let's put an end to vision loss.
Okay, so that was just a little bit from Lowell. Okay, I'm gonna try to save this because last time like CNN started playing in the background afterwards. Okay, so yeah, so please think about considering joining us this year. It's a great way to sort of raise awareness about the work that we're doing, and you know, I think all charities again are having this like dip in funding this year, and it would be great if you're interested in helping us further. So before I turn it over to Amanda, who's going to introduce Laura, I have a few housekeeping items I just want to mention. So there is an accessible program for today's event. You can download it from our Young Leaders website, which is a little bit long. It's fightingblindness.ca/get-involved/young-leaders. But if you go to the Fighting Blindness Canada page, you can find it, I think, fairly easily. And if you have any questions at any time during the webinar for Laura, there is a Q&A box that is at the bottom of the Zoom screen, just called Q&A, and you can type a question any time. Otherwise, there will be a way that you can do, we can do questions over audio afterwards. So I'll go through all of that when we get there. And lastly, I want to thank our sponsor, RBC Future Launch, who has continued to support our program this year and is really making all of the work that we're doing possible for this Young Leaders program. All right, so with all of that in mind, I want to turn it over to Amanda, who's one of our co-chairs this year, and she's going to introduce Laura. Take it away.
Thanks, Morgan. So I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today's presentation, who is Laura Feltz. So Laura spent over 2 decades working in the corporate human resources world, and then transitioned to becoming a coach and hypnotherapist. I had the privilege of attending Laura's session, one of her sessions last week, where we talked about how to get a more restful and peaceful sleep. And I think that you guys will really enjoy hearing what she has to say and the guided visualization that she'll be doing for all of us today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Laura and hope that you enjoy today's webinar.
Amanda, thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to be part of the Young Leaders Summit. I am so impressed with Fighting Blindness Canada and their support of young leader and youth in the visually impaired community. So a little bit more about my background, just so you know who I am. So as Amanda mentioned, that I spent over 2 decades in human resources in a large corporate setting, a large insurance company in Toronto. However, they had a global footprint. However, human resources was actually my 4th career. So, you know, I think gone are the days where people have one set career that they do throughout the duration of their lifetime. I think there's the rare scenarios where people become doctors or lawyers, those types of professions, but you see more and more now where people leverage and pivot their skills to adapt as they grow and develop. And that was certainly the case for myself. And human resources was definitely a great opportunity for me. I was an HR business partner. So what that fancy title means is that I worked with executive teams on their talent and succession management. So ensuring that we mitigated risk for succession. So what that means is when we have an executive who left the organization, we had a line of succession in place and people that were ready to promote and go. And also look at the business plan with the talent pipeline as well. So do we have the talent in the organization or externally? How do we prepare for the changing business environment so that we know that we've got the talent to fulfill on the business plan? I was fortunate for about the last decade to have a global scope, so global clients. And that was really interesting. So I worked with clients in many countries in Asia, And that was such an enriching experience for me. I actually had the opportunity to travel on an annual basis to Asia, which was really exciting. And it was always great to meet people in person. It seems like a whole different era now. That back in the old days when we were able to actually get on a plane and meet people. And it was really fulfilling. After a couple of years of some restructurings in the organization, which I led a number of groups through, there was an opportunity where I basically didn't see a next step for myself within human resources and decided to take a step back. And at that point, I was quite depleted. I was going all in on my focus on my career, and I really needed to take a step back. And during the last several years of my time in corporate, I actually, I have glaucoma, and my advanced glaucoma actually crossed the line where I became legally blind. So as I was working, I was losing sight, which was challenging. The organization was certainly very supportive, and it was about me navigating that system, and it was a new experience for everyone involved. It was, yeah, it was an interesting period, and interesting for me from the perspective of going from a situation where I knew how to do my job as a sighted individual, and as I was slowly losing my vision, how to adapt myself and how to advocate for myself and let people know how they could support me in that. And I would say, you know, after I stepped away from corporate and took some time off, I definitely kept myself moving forward in terms of my personal development. And I actually got connected to Fighting Blindness Canada through an individual that I met in a leadership program who had mentioned Cycle for Sight. And I joined the Crankers and joined them on a tandem for my first time, and rode a couple of years ago, and I am doing the virtual Cycle for Sight this year. So I'm so impressed with what Fighting Blindness Canada does. So I'm a volunteer ambassador for Fighting Blindness Canada, as well as for the CNIB, their ambassador program. So last year, I actually took a program where I received my designation to be an NLP results coach and a hypnotherapist. And what that complicated name means, neuro-linguistic programming, is really the language of performance and tapping into how our minds work. And this has been a passion for me throughout all of my careers. Really tapping into how do we think and perform, and taking the designation in terms of NLP and really tapping into the power of hypnotherapy. It's really taking me to the next step in terms of what I can offer out in the world. And I've got a big passion for working with women who are depleted or tired of being tired, taking the mask of fine down and being just great when everything isn't, and helping them step into their full brilliance in their lives. So whether that be in their career, in their personal life, in their wellness, in their wealth, I work with all of those dimensions. So I'm excited today to talk to you about releasing anxiety and boosting resilience. We'll do a guided visualization for you with that. And just a few things that I wanted to frame first. So you've taken the time to come on this webinar, which I really appreciate. So really fully participate. So be open. One of my teachers said to me once, we cannot learn with a full cup. And that really stuck with me. So set aside any assumptions or things that you think you may know, and just really listen with an open mind and with curiosity. So that's number one. Number two, make sure any notifications are on silent, so your devices are on silent as we get to the guided visualization. We want to ensure that, or I want to ensure that you are not disturbed by your notifications, or if you've got pets in the room, please ensure that they are sleeping so that you're not disturbed as you go into that guided visualization part. And really just relax and enjoy. If you can follow instructions, you can do well in guided visualization. So as I mentioned, part of what fascinated me about the coaching that I do now and leveraging hypnotherapy is really the access to our mind. So our mind is like a smartphone, if I can use that analogy. So we have our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. So our conscious mind, if you think of the first screen of your smartphone where you have your favorite apps, that's like our conscious mind, where we've got about 6% of our mind that we actually use consciously. So that's our analytical capability, our how we decipher, how we think, that sort of thing. So our conscious mind is like our goal setter, if I can say that. Our unconscious mind are all of those other pages of apps that are running in the background on your smartphone. And those can be things like our values, our behaviors, all of those sorts of things that we don't think about. They're just running in the background all the time. Our beliefs, even running our body, that is all of our unconscious mind. So 96% or so of our mind is our unconscious mind. So any of our actions are actually a result of our unconscious mind. So how we learn and how we communicate, our behavior is all driven from our unconscious. And I know that might be startling for some of you. When I really took in that information, it just, for me, gave me access to, okay, so if that's the case, how can I influence more of that to align to what I do? Because our conscious mind as a goal setter, our unconscious mind is our goal getter. So motivation will take you only so far because that's typically our willpower. We need to really ensure that we've got the underlying thoughts and behaviors that are aligned to the goal that we want to achieve in order to move forward. And I'm just referring to a few of my notes. So our unconscious mind, what we call our prime directive, the main job of our unconscious mind is actually to run our body. So, and to keep us safe. So our unconscious mind keeps us preserved, it keeps us safe. We don't have to think about our blood pumping through our system. We don't have to think about how our food digests. It just runs our body. When we sleep, we don't have to give it any instructions. It just does its job. And anything that we do, our mind is made to preserve us. So you know that when you get that sort of uncomfortable feeling, that is our mind signaling us that, oh, you need to pay attention to this because you might not be safe. And that's our amygdala. And our amygdala was great many, many years ago when we may have been out hunting and we needed to be mindful of a saber-toothed tiger that might have been lurking nearby. However, now it's really our unconscious mind lets us know when things aren't as they normally are. So when we're making a change, that's when we feel uncomfortable with the change. That's just our amygdala firing and letting us know that, we're doing something new. Do you really want to do this? And sometimes you feel uncomfortable for a period of time until you get practice. So it's really, it's not practice makes perfect, it's practice makes progress. So I don't know if that makes sense. If that makes sense, maybe if you can raise your hand in the chat, that would be great. One other piece about the unconscious mind, it will only accept things that will support the preservation of the body. So if you are reading something and it just doesn't align, or if you're doing something that puts you at risk, your unconscious mind is going to send you that signal that, okay, you need to either disregard this or not do it to keep you safe. Something else fascinating about our unconscious mind is it actually doesn't process a negative. So let me give you an example. If I say to you, don't think of a blue tree, what's the first thing that you're thinking about? The blue tree, right? It's kind of fascinating. So when you might say to somebody, oh, don't forget to pick up milk, they're going to forget to pick up milk. So you might as well just drop the don't from that sentence, because what your unconscious mind hears is forget the milk. So if you've been frustrated with somebody or with yourself, saying, okay, don't forget to pick up the keys, or don't forget to where I put my sunglasses, you're just reinforcing forget where I put the sunglasses, forget the keys. So just saying what you actually want your unconscious mind to do, or what you want to do, being simple and direct is the best approach. So remember the keys, remember your sunglasses, and you will. Another great thing about the unconscious mind is that it doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So if I can just get you to close your eyes for just a second and imagine you're standing in your kitchen, and in front of you on the counter is a lemon, and just pick up that lemon and imagine feeling the waxy skin, and bring it just to your nose, and you can kind of have that hint of zest. And if you, in your mind, open your eyes and reach for a knife and safely cut the lemon open, and feel the juice dripping down your fingers, and bring that lemon up to your mouth and run your tongue over the pulpy flesh of the lemon. You can just taste that lemon, the sourness of that lemon. Okay, so open your eyes. So whose mouth is salivating a lot now? That's the power of our unconscious mind. So what we think becomes our reality, and our words really have an impact. So especially in this time of COVID, what we tell ourselves or what we repeat has a lot of power. And especially as we're saying or asking people, how are you doing? Oh, I'm really frustrated being in lockdown. Listen to the word choice. Oh, you know, I really can't go anywhere where we're restricted to stay at home. So if we reframe that to just talk about how we are at home and lose the restrictive language, it actually opens up in our body a little bit more. So our words do have a lot of power. And just really, reflect on this. And this is not a make wrong. I catch myself doing it more and more now, and really am cleaning up how I speak to others and to myself during this time and beyond that. So this is something to really keep in mind, and an easy change that you can make. Just checking to make sure I'm so a couple of other things about our unconscious mind is when we look at our habits and how we go about taking in information. from an anxiety perspective, I know for myself when the self-isolation first occurred, I was listening to the news quite a bit. And after a couple of days, I noticed that I was really getting anxious and I was having difficulty concentrating. And I stepped back and looked at, okay, what am I doing differently that I don't normally do? And the one piece that was a big impact for me was I was listening to the news. So our unconscious mind is most open first thing in the morning when we wake up and just before we go to bed. So one recommendation that I would have for you is if you do listen to the news, listen to it midday and really be mindful about what you take in first thing in the morning and at the end of the day. Studies have shown that when people listen to the news first thing in the morning, they're 27% more likely to say that they're not having a great day versus people who didn't listen to the news. So even that percentage, if you think about it, it's almost a third of people had a different experience, a day that wasn't as great as those people who didn't listen to the news. Also, in listening to the news at those times, first thing in the morning, at the end of the day, 55% of our resources, so resources meaning what our unconscious mind focuses on, is gone. It just disappears because we're taking in that information. And the news, let's face it, they focus more on the negative, which our unconscious mind tends to go to more, we really listen into versus positive news. I hope this is making sense to you. So the guided visualization that I'll be doing this afternoon is one that contains some hypnotic suggestion. And I mentioned hypnosis, that I'm a hypnotherapist. And if you had said to me 5 years ago, Laura, in 5 years, you're going to be a hypnotherapist, I would have said, oh, that's so crazy. And I would have had some assumptions about what that meant. So the type of hypnosis that I do is specifically for motivation. It's nothing like you would see in a Vegas stage show. So there's no barking like a dog or clucking like a chicken, nothing like that at all. The trance that I do, so if you're watching television, within 90 seconds, you're actually in a trance. So it's really that the brainwave slows down and we go into a state of relaxation. So a guided visualization with hypnotic suggestion, what happens with that is that it creates an opening with your unconscious mind. So I'm speaking directly to your unconscious mind and giving suggestions that will support you in terms of releasing anxiety and boosting resilience. So it's a state where our conscious and our unconscious are aligned, and our conscious mind has gotten out of the way, because remember, that is our analytical mind. So it needs to sort of analyze what's being said, etc. So the conscious mind doesn't need to get involved at all. It's really speaking to your unconscious mind. So all you need to do is relax and just follow instructions. So a little bit more about hypnosis. So hypnosis is not unconsciousness. It's a state of relaxation. And it's a deep state of relaxation for sure. So we're on the same brainwave that we would if we were in a meditation. And the hypnosis is not any sort of mind control. It's actually a state of full control for yourself. So you will not accept anything in hypnosis that does not preserve the body. That's the great thing about our unconscious minds. It's always looking out for us. So if there's something that's being suggested that isn't in alignment with you, it will just disregard it, or you will come out of trance. Pretty simple. The hypnosis does cause trance, and it will work in tandem with the conscious and the unconscious mind. So it really bridges that gap. So it's like that bridge to ensure that they're working together, kind of like riding a tandem. I don't know how many tandem bike riders we have on this call. So I hope that makes sense. I'll just pause. Is there any questions that have come up at this point?
Let me just check here for you.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, there's one question. Yeah, so one question someone asked is, you mentioned that we shouldn't listen to the news before bed because our mind is more open and news is negative. What positive things should we do in the morning or evening instead?
That's a great question. So I know I listen to a couple of different podcasts that are really focused on interviewing individuals who have done something and want to contribute to others. So thought leaders. So Lewis Howes has the School of Greatness. That's a fantastic podcast to listen to. Also, I listen to Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu. Same sort of vein. They're really focused on human potential and human performance. So those are fantastic. Or reading, something that really supports your mind. I wouldn't recommend in the evening reading a Stephen King before you go to bed, because anything that you do just before you're going to bed and just before going to sleep will go into your unconscious mind. So that's a great time to review your goals. It's a great time to write out your own thoughts of the self-image that you're growing into, like your future self. How do you want to be? What do you want to focus on? What do you want to develop? Or meditation. It's a great time for you to do meditation. So I hope that helps. So we're going to go into the guided visualization. So I just want to ensure that, because I can't see anyone on the screen, that the device that you have, it's on a secure surface. So please ensure that if you've got a laptop, a tablet, or a phone, that it is on a secure surface, and secure surface is not your lap. I just want to make sure that's clear. Also ensure that your feet are flat on the floor. Your limbs are not crossed, and your hands are just gently resting on your lap. If for whatever reason we get disconnected, in touch wood, all of my time in doing virtual sessions, I've not been disconnected. In case we get disconnected partway through the guided visualization, you will come out of trance feeling refreshed and energized, and you will get what you need to get from this as well. So whatever you get from this guided visualization, you will get. And hypnosis is really, if you can close your eyes and breathe and relax and follow instructions, you can be hypnotized. So it's pretty straightforward. Oh, and one other piece, the chair that you're sitting in is going to safely support you throughout the entire guided visualization. So you'll be secure in the chair that you're sitting in, and it will support you throughout the guided visualization. Okay, so first of all, we're going to take in a moment, we're going to take 3 breaths. And how we're going to breathe, and this is something that you can use after the session, is it will help your system relax. So we're going to inhale for the count of 2, we're going to hold for the count of 2, and then we're going to exhale for the count of 4. And we want to ensure that you're breathing in through your diaphragm. So if you're breathing in your chest, go down and breathe through your diaphragm. Okay, so we're going to do 3 breaths in, or do this 3 times. So inhale for 2, hold for 2, and exhale for 4. And as you exhale, you're pushing that out of your, exhaling out of your mouth. Inhale for 2, hold for 2, and exhale for 4, 3, 4. And one more time. Inhale for 2, hold for 2, and exhale for 4. Good. You should start to feel grounded in the chair that you're sitting in, feeling your feet on the floor, your toes in your socks or in your shoes, or maybe on the bare ground. And just take another deep breath. And as you breathe, allow your eyes to close only as quickly as you are ready to make any of the changes that you want completely. Good. Now, I'd like you to just for a moment to focus on the tiny muscles around your eyes and allow those muscles to begin to relax now. Allow those muscles to relax completely. Imagine that every word that I say is relaxing those muscles automatically. Imagine that you are having your temples gently massaged and your eyes are relaxing so completely that they just won't work. And imagine that is happening automatically. Every word that I say relaxes those muscles completely now. Good. Imagine that your eyes are so relaxed that they just won't work. Imagine that this has happened and there is nothing that you can do about it now. When you realize your eyes are so relaxed that they just won't work, you could test them and find that they are completely locked now, just for a while, and relax. Good. Now, nothing bothers or affects you. Nothing disturbs you, just for now. Nobody wants anything. Nobody needs anything. All that matters now is the sound of my voice and that feeling of freedom. That's right. Now you can let that relaxation go right down through your body. Every muscle, every nerve, and every fiber relaxing completely now. Because with your eyes closed, you can continue to relax. Although at times you may be more aware of something that you were before. The sound of my voice, the comfort of the chair, the sounds in the room, certain sensations, the sounds outside the room, the beating of your heart, and the thoughts and images that drift into the mind automatically. Just for a moment, imagine the faces of the people that you love. Imagine the faces of the people that you love. Imagine the faces of the people that you love. Imagine the faces of people that love you, the people that love you, the people that love you. See those smiles and feel that love. And as you feel that love, every negative limiting belief that you or anyone else ever placed on you disappears. And as you feel that love, the deeper into hypnosis you drift, deeper, deeper down now. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you go. And as you drift even deeper, my voice and the words will drift with you to become a part of your experience now. Every word I say now takes you deeper and deeper and deeper. You are so relaxed and comfortable. You can imagine or visualize yourself walking in your favorite place now. You can feel the ground beneath your feet with every step you take. This is such a beautiful place to walk and just be. Perhaps after a while, you come across a very inviting chair that almost seems to call your name as you approach it. So you sit down safely, and this is the perfect place to rest and enjoy your beautiful surroundings and enjoy and really feel the complete relaxation and comfort. You realize this is your most favorite place in the world. A total sense of relaxation takes over your entire body. Everything I say now becomes your reality. Every suggestion I give you, you will act upon without hesitation, is now your reality. Because you have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind, the back of the mind, can continue to hear and respond to those things that I may say without the need for you to do anything at all. It is so much easier for the conscious mind simply to relax and enjoy the letting go. That's right. Letting go even of the effort that it takes to tell the exact position of arms, legs. Feel those muscles just releasing and feel totally comfortable. As you breathe easily and relaxation flows over your entire body now, that seems to drift through time and space. That wonderful, free floating place of effortless, total relaxation and letting go. The unconscious mind can allow the drifting to occur, where the unconscious mind drifts off someplace else completely now. As you sit comfortably, I want you for a moment to focus on your breathing. I want you to pretend and imagine that you are breathing in calmness and breathing out tension. As you continue to breathe like this, just focus on your body and just notice any tension anywhere. Just let it go as you exhale. In your mind, softly and slowly repeat the word relax 4 times. Relax, 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 relax. As you repeat that word, you can begin to relax. Let every muscle relax. As you do that, you may become more aware of the ideas and images that drift into the mind automatically, and allow yourself to drift down deeper and deeper into that feeling. Allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper, and imagine that is happening all by itself as you listen to the sound of my voice. In a moment, I will begin counting down from 10. With each number I count down, your body will relax completely. At the same time, I will count down from 10. I'll be counting up from 1. With each number I count up from 1, your mind will be stronger, clearer, and more focused on what you want to achieve. 10, your body relaxing, every muscle, every nerve, every cell relaxing with every word I say. 1, the mind is stronger, more focused on what you want, how you want to feel, how you want to be. 9, feel yourself relaxing more and more now. Nothing bothers you, nothing affects you. 2, every negative thought swept from your mind. 8, Your body becoming completely anesthetized as if you've had a general anesthetic. 3, every limiting belief swept from your mind. 7, dropping down toward a place of peace and total relaxation. Every word that I say, every breath you take doubles that wonderful feeling. 4, the mind begins to separate from the body now. 6, going deeper, deeper, deeper down, dropping down into a state of absolute peace. Floating, now imagine there is nothing you can do about it. The deeper you go, the better you feel. 5, your mind separates from your body and drifts away, way up, away from the body, drifts out into the future, and see yourself achieving the things that you want to achieve, and do it fearlessly. Step into your body and feel what you have felt. Feel yourself achieving those goals. The sense of deep satisfaction, excitement, and confidence that you have. Look back to now and notice all the things you did to achieve those goals, each step, each action, all the ways you felt because you wanted to feel those ways. The mind drifts without boundaries, without borders. Just for now, nobody wants anything, nobody needs anything. The body drifts through time and space. That's right. Now, as I continue to count down, every number will double that feeling of relaxation. 4, going deeper and deeper. 3, dropping down further and further. 2, deeper and deeper down. 1, letting go of all physical awareness now. 0, now you're in a place of total relaxation, total peace, where you have access to all your inner strength, your inner abilities, all those secret resources that you are now realizing that are there for you to access at any time, and go deeper and deeper down into this beautiful hypnotic trance. As I continue to count up from 5, 6, every negative thought that was ever placed on you is gone from your mind. 7, every limiting belief that you or anyone else placed on you is gone from your mind. You cannot experience those feelings anymore. The harder you try to remember the negative feelings, the further away they drift. See the faces of the people you love. See the faces of the people that love you. The people that love you. And feel that, and let that remind you now of your real worth, your real value, just how loved you are. And now that love, like the burning hot sun in the summer sky, feel the heat, that light from that love, and now allow it, make it, shrink it down to a white hot ball of light, the size of a golf ball, and pull it into the very core of your being. Feel the light of that love spread through every cell of your body, now flowing, flooding your mind with the most incredible feelings of empowerment and love, fearless, free, flowing. Feel that light of that love pushing the black cloud of doubt, anxiety, any other uncertainty, pushing it up. And it's being in your chest, and now it's pushing up through your body, going up through the throat, feeling it move from the force for that incredible love and light, and feel it just below your skull now. And in a moment, just as I click my fingers, it will be forced through the top of your head, never to affect you again. So get ready, be brave. Now watch that dark black cloud drifting away from you, drifting higher and higher, further and further. Watch it as it drifts into space. It gets sucked into a black hole, never ever to affect you again. And from today, no matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to experience those awful feelings again. And the harder you even try to remember what they were like, the further away they are. In a moment of clarity with everything, when everything becomes clear, where almost anything becomes achievable. 9, really feeling this process. 10, the moment of enlightenedness, a true understanding of your worth, your real value as a person, as a human being, and just how loved you are. And in a moment, I'm going to count up from 1 to 10. And at 10, you will come back into the room fully awake, fully aware. And before that, realizing that all those things that may have caused any anxiety or fear before, totally dissolving now. Your unconscious mind is identifying new ways of feeling good, 5 new ways, 10 new ways, 100 new ways, new resources now open and accessible to you, new ideas, new ways of thinking, more empowering than ever before, realizing all those things and coming back only as quickly as those new ideas and resources really bring themselves forward and present themselves to you. Number 1, locking those suggestions in at a deep molecular DNA level. 2, feeling better than you felt before. 3, a sense of certainty, a sense of calm. 4, amazing, wonderful, powerful, incredible. 5, seeing yourself from across the room that you are in now, seeing your face and feeling that love that you feel for yourself and recognizing, yes, yes. 6, floating back towards your body, feeling incredible, seeing and feeling the energy and consciousness around you. 7, better and better, a deep breath, a beat of the heart. 8, remembering what it's all about, the why, the good why. 9, floating back into your body, and that feels incredible, and coming back into the present moment, back into awareness. And 10, fully awake, fully aware, your eyes open now, coming back into awareness, back into the room, back into the here. Take a deep breath, back into the room, realizing that it's all really great feelings and you can revisit those at any time you want. Come back into the room now, open your eyes, take a deep breath. Good. And just as you come back into the room, I want you to notice what's different now about any anxiety that you may have felt. How is it different? If you have a cup of water there, feel free to take a sip of water. Are we back into the room? So I'd love to hear what you've experienced, if you're willing to share.
Okay, if anyone would like to share over audio, you can raise your hand by a couple of keyboard shortcuts. So on a PC, you press Alt-Y, or on a Mac, you can press Option-Y. You can also use the chat feature or the Q&A to put something in. Emily is saying, that was amazing, thank you so much. And Terry is asking, is it normal to feel that you are in a deep sleep? Your voice was very far away at one moment.
You don't actually go to sleep in hypnosis. If you may have been in a deep state of relaxation, and if you did drift off to sleep, if you were laying down instead of sitting in the chair, you certainly can go into sleep, but you would just be in a deep, deep state of relaxation. So anything that I was saying, it will go and you will take in what you needed to take in.
That's great. I don't see any other questions at the moment.
Okay, great. So just a couple of things. I know we're coming right up to the top of the hour. So there were a couple of cues that you can tap into that feeling very easily. So saying the word relax in your mind 4 times in a row will take you into that state of total relaxation. And also breath. Tapping into doing the breathing, so taking those 3 breaths that we did at the beginning. So inhale for 2, exhale for 4. And it's really that combination of double the time of the inhale for the exhale and exhaling out through your mouth that will help your body relax. And doing that 3 times will have a physiological impact on your body. So you will actually feel your shoulders come down and relax.
Excellent. And someone else has another question. Do you have any tips for not falling asleep during meditation?
So I would certainly sit in a chair. And yeah, it depends when you're doing your meditation. So it may just be a case of you're going too deep in your meditation. And you may try just telling yourself that you're going to be alert through your meditation and let go and let your unconscious mind enjoy that.
Great, thank you. And Sam said, that was a great visualization. I loved it. I felt very heavy, but in a good way.
Excellent, excellent.
I'm wondering if there's other questions, please definitely put them into the Q&A box. And just while we're waiting to see if anyone else has other questions, I was wondering if I could change sort of a direction just a little bit. Laura, I think we talked about how our theme this year through the program is networking and social supports.
Yes.
But I wondered if you might share with us what social supports are the most important to you and why.
Oh my gosh. Well, even before, going into this period of social distancing, staying connected with your network is really important. So ensure that you've got that social structure in place that you're tapping into. I know for myself, during this period, my family who lives outside of the city, we do a weekly Zoom brunch now. So it's set up. We just hop on and, eat in our own homes. And I anticipate that this will be something that will continue after COVID, setting up regular virtual coffee dates as well with individuals, my friends, and really paying attention to what I'm listening to. So for myself, I have mentors who don't know who I am. And what I mean by that is the podcasts that I'm listening to or the thought leaders that I'm listening to, I learn from them every day. And those are part of my network. So, the saying, Tony Robbins talks about, you're the sum of the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And, you can really elevate that by tapping into some of those thought leaders online who really focus on developing themselves. So I hope that helps.
That's great, thank you. And I have a bunch of questions that have come in while we were talking. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening. If one of the co-chairs is dismissing these, maybe don't, so I can open them up. Okay, so someone also asked, how often should we practice visualization?
Oh my gosh, often. Think about when you were a little kid, how often did you tap into your imagination? A lot, right? We were always in our imagination, and visualization is really just tapping into that. So certainly great times to do visualization or meditation is first thing in the morning when you wake up, because again, that's when your unconscious mind is most open to those suggestions, or just before you go to bed, because what happens when we go to sleep, our unconscious mind is working on that. So, if you have a question that you're pondering, put it to your unconscious mind before you go to bed and see what it processes through the night. So yeah, definitely. Dr. Joe Dispenza had, from a meditation point of view, had a group do meditation for 4 days for 10 minutes, 3 times a day. And at the end of the 4-day period, they had done some measurements on their immunity. And at the end of 4 days, they had increased their immune system by 50%, like their immunity markers by 50%. So tapping into visualization in our meditation is very good for ourselves.
Wow, that's quite the stat.
Yeah.
Okay, Emily's asking, will this webinar be posted somewhere so we can do it again? And I can answer that one, absolutely. We are recording today's session and it will be available. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to post it, if it'll be on our YouTube or if it'll be on our Young Leaders page, but I will send everyone a link to the recording so that if you want to watch it again or share with someone who you think might be interested, that is available to you. So Jack asks, can you share any online resources related to this topic? I had a really positive experience and would like to learn more.
Absolutely. I can, I'd be happy to share a couple of resources. I can send them to you, Morgan.
Absolutely.
And we can post that for individuals for sure.
That would be great. Yeah, we can send that out as well with the follow-up email after today.
And I'll just mention, I do have another free session where I'm doing a guided visualization with hypnotic suggestion for more restful sleep on the 27th. So Wednesday, the 27th at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I'll send out the link for that to Morgan as well. And you can register to be on that. It's a Zoom call as well. And I encourage people to come in their pajamas and be ready for bed so that you can actually go to sleep. So yeah.
Perfect. That would be great. Yeah, we'll send all this out to everyone for more. So Serena is asking, are there other ways to reach that same feeling of deep relaxation on our own? Other than practicing breath, is it usually just hypnosis? And does Laura also have other content that is available publicly?
Yep. So meditation and visualization, guided visualization, take you to that same brainwave, or hypnosis take you to that same brainwave state. So those are the only two that I'm aware of that will take you to that state on a consistent basis. So doing yoga, because yoga does incorporate the breath, and depending on what type of yoga I would anticipate, it would take you to that space as well. And yes, you can watch me for the programs that I will be offering. I'll be offering a self-hypnosis workshop, a masterclass online in June. So that will be coming up. And I'll be offering, once I have a better sense of what's happening, if it'll be online or in person, a 3-day hypnosis certification program. That'll probably be coming up in July or August. So watch out for that. And if you want to join my mailing list and just keep in contact with other programs or offerings that come up, you can go to my website and register online. And that's www.laurafeltz.com.
Perfect. And again, I can include that in our email that we send out. Okay, I think there's just one final comment. It's just a quick observation. I felt that I couldn't feel my hands and feet. I love this because throughout the day, I always feel like I'm running around or doing constant tasks with my hands. Amazing.
Yeah, that's very, very common to have different experiences show up in your body. So good noticing that, where you may not have been feeling something or where you may have felt tension. It's very normal to feel that during a hypnosis session or a deep meditation.
Excellent. Well, I think that was it for questions for now, but we will be sure to send out all these resources to you. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to Laura or myself. And would love to hear what you thought of the session as well. So thank you, Laura. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
I feel incredibly relaxed, and now I have to go relieve my parents of my daughter. So that's that's going to be good. I'll be very zen with what's about to happen in my life.
So great. And, you know, if you have other feedback, I'd love to hear your feedback. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am on Instagram, and or you can email me directly as well.
Yes, and that kind of brings me to my next thing, which is that we do have a survey that will be popping up when you close the window. For anyone who's been to the Young Leaders Program before, you know that we are sponsored by RBC, and they have these delightful surveys that they always want us to complete. And so we have worked with them. We have a very short survey now. It's only after a webinar or a session. It shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to complete, and it will pop up automatically after you leave. So I really do encourage you to fill that out. One, it helps us report back to RBC, and two, it helps myself and the co-chairs and our speakers make sure that we are delivering content that you are finding useful and meaningful in your life. So that will pop up. And then the other thing I want to just remind you about is that our next webinar is going to be on Saturday, June 6th. It's going to be with our co-chairs who you met briefly at the beginning of this session. And it's going to be really a panel sort of discussion about our theme of networking and social supports. And there will be lots of opportunities for you to ask questions, to use your audio chat to engage with us. We're really trying to make it as interactive as possible. So mark that on your calendar, and you can definitely go ahead and register now at the Young Leaders webpage. And the last couple things I wanted to mention, in addition to Cycle for Sight, another campaign that we're running very soon on May 30th is called Screens Off for Sight. And basically this campaign is asking, could you go without your screens for 24 hours? So accept the challenge and join us for Screens Off for Sight on May 30th at 6 p.m. And you can find more details on our website as well about this campaign. Lastly, we do have some internal research projects that we are working on, and we currently have surveys open about AMD, inherited retinal diseases, and diabetic eye disease. And this information that we're gathering is key to our discussions with governments and policymakers as we work to ensure new treatments and research comes to Canada. So definitely, if you're interested in that, visit our survey page on our website. So again, a big thank you to RBC Future Launch for making all of our Young Leaders programming possible. Thank you to Laura and our co-chairs and all of you out there for joining us today. If you ever have any questions about the Young Leaders program, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And continue to stay safe and healthy, and hopefully we will connect again very soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.